Welcome to Ballet Bites, where ink meets on point, and today we're diving headfirst into the evolving world of tattoos and ballet in 2025.
I love that setup. Tattoos and tutus. It's such a wild intersection of tradition and modern expression, right?
Absolutely, and it's fascinating how traditional ballet houses are grappling with, these visible body arts. For instance, New York City Ballet is now allowing small wrist and ankle tattoos during certain premieres.
Yep, I heard that too. It's like they're saying, yes, let your individuality shine, but keep it under control during Swan Lake, isn't it?
Exactly. And Boston Ballet is tipping the scales even further by revealing full-sleeve mesh in their promo photos for Ben Stevenson's Dracula production, something that used to be unheard of.
Right. And then you have the Paris Opera Ballet, which is still, as they put it, enforcing the classical illusion by taping and painting everything down to the knuckles. It really is a mixed bag across companies.
It is. And then there's the English National Ballet, which has this interesting clause. Visible tattoos are only permitted if they support choreographic intent. That means a tattoo could be celebrated in one production, like in Akram Khan's Creature, but completely banned in a classic like Giselle.
That's a brilliant twist, using tattoos as part of the storytelling. But it makes me wonder, can visible ink really enhance a narrative on stage?
Oh, for sure. Think about Sergei Polunin's chest tattoo of Putin that made the Times headlines back in December 2024. It, became a statement piece, almost louder than the choreography itself.
Wow, that's a bold move. I mean, it's like the tattoo steps in and says, I'm here and I'm telling a story too, right?
Exactly. And then you flip the coin with Crystal Pite's plot point at Dutch National Ballet, where dancers were allowed to keep their tattoos to underscore themes of fractured identity. And the audience absolutely raved about that authenticity.
That really shows how body art isn't just a distraction. It can actually add, layers of meaning if handled right.
Definitely. And then you have rising choreographers like Brett Fukuda, who mentioned that Julia Weiss's shoulder mandala read like ancient armor in her Radical Apollo rewrite. It's like, tattoos are being reinvented as symbolic expressions rather than just mere markings.
I like that notion. A tattoo is armor. But at the same time, isn't there a concern that bold ink can sometimes steal the spotlight from the technical mastery of the dancer, like Balanchine footwork?
That's exactly the debate. Some directors worry that a tattoo might compete with the nuanced details of a dancer's performance. NYCB's Craig Hall even mentioned that when a tattoo competes with epaulement, the overall performance can suffer.
That makes sense. After all, ballet is such a refined art form, and any distraction, even intentional, requires careful balance.
Right. And that tension spills over into auditions and competitions. Views are, pretty split. For example, the Youth America Grand Prix in 2025 doesn't have explicit rules about tattoos, but one judge admitted, I know it's there when the dancer's foundation looks like putty, it subconsciously counts, which, leaves room for bias.
That's a real eyebrow raiser. So some dancers now carry two headshots, one neutral and one that shows their ink, right?
Exactly. Like Houston Ballet soloist Erica Fuentes, who prefers to disclose her forearm tiger after the first round. It's a way of owning it before it becomes a surprise on stage or in rehearsal. And, it really sets the protocol for transparency.
It sounds like the industry is slowly adapting. And speaking of adapting, there's also been tech innovation on the cover-up side, isn't there?
Yes, indeed. Take the Brisbane startup MirageSkin, for example. They've demoed projection map tights that can essentially wash out tattoos with, a wash of micro LED threads. A quick zap in the wings, and boom, blank canvas.
Wow, that's like magic tech. But doesn't that create a whole new level of production cost and planning?
It does add another layer of logistics. One tube of professional cover-up cream costs around $48 and lasts 6 full-length ballets, whereas a pair of these high-tech tights is predicted to cost about $230 and might last 2 seasons. It's an accountant's dream, really, but also a big investment.
Interesting trade-off. Traditional makeup versus innovative tech. And then there's Kryolan's new HydroShield airbrush sealer that, literally survived a full run of Le Corsair at ABT without any transfer. That's an absolute game changer backstage.
Exactly. One director called it the biggest backstage innovation since fast-dry Pointe paint, which really speaks to how makeup science is evolving in concert with performance art.
So it seems that, while the artistic expression through tattoos is growing, the practical side of keeping a performance pristine remains, well, super important.
Indeed. And then there's the whole branding story. Take Pacific Northwest ballet soloist Alec. He sports 26 tattoos, and his behind-the-scenes reel of a quick cover-up routine not only got over 1.4 million views, but it also spiked ticket sales for their mixed bill.
That's phenomenal. It's like his ink is not a liability, but a marketing asset, especially on social media.
Exactly. Brands like Bloch are even jumping on board with ink and on point campaigns.
Yeah.
But high luxury sponsors still prefer the pristine aesthetic, so it really depends on the venue and context.
It definitely adds layers of strategy for dancers. I mean, as a student, you're now thinking about ink placement that can be hidden by standard practice gear, right?
Right. Practical advice is key. Dancers are advised to choose placements that are easily concealed, like the upper ribs, back, or upper thighs, and to schedule their inking during layoff weeks, because, fresh tattoos just don't mix well with the dance floor.
And don't forget the cover-up kits. It's almost like having a mini makeup lab, with concealer tubes, barrier sprays, and emergency kits at the ready.
Exactly. Directors appreciate dancers who manage their extra expenses instead of dumping unexpected costs on the wardrobe. It all boils down to reliability and self-management.
It's fascinating to see how deeply personal choices, like tattoos, are interwoven with professional protocols and even tech advancements in ballet.
Totally. And when you consider that major media outlets like the New York Times and the BBC are now featuring ballet tattoos without casting them as taboos, it feels like the ice is truly cracking.
Yeah.
We might be on the verge of seeing a tattooed Odette gliding across the Met stage one day.
That would be a sight to see. A perfect blend of raw expression and classical beauty. But, do you really think that such a transformation is inevitable, or is it just a temporary trend?
I'm inclined to say it's a lasting change. I mean, consider how much Gen Z has influenced every aspect of art and culture. When 63% of them are rocking tattoos, it forces traditional companies to adapt if they want to stay relevant.
That's a fair point. It's like ballet is learning to, dance to a new beat, one where individuality and innovation take center stage without entirely discarding classical technique.
Exactly. And while some purists may still cling to full cover-ups and pristine aesthetic, the broader trend seems to be a gradual integration of personal expression into the art form.
It's a delicate balance, though. The industry has to reconcile the need for technical perfection with the vibrant, sometimes rebellious expressions of a new generation.
Right. And directors continuously wrestle with that. When does a tattoo add to the storytelling? And when does it become a distraction? This conversation is as much about aesthetics as it is about identity.
I completely agree. And it opens up broader discussions on body autonomy, marketing, and even technological innovation in the arts. It's like an ecosystem where every element feeds into the next.
Absolutely. And that is exactly what makes this topic so juicy. From new audition protocols and social media buzz to breakthrough cover-up technologies and evolving cultural norms, there's a lot at play here.
For sure. And as dancers, choreographers, and even the audiences keep navigating these changes, one thing remains constant: the passion and dedication to the art of ballet itself.
Well said. So whether you're a tattooed trailblazer or a purist in full Dermablend, it seems the show must and will go on.
Absolutely. Thanks for this engaging dive into how ink and classical beauty are reimagining ballet in our time.
My pleasure. And to all the dancers and art lovers tuning in, keep challenging the norm and exploring new expressions, both on and off the stage.
Here's to a future where every mark tells a story and every performance, inked or not, captivates us all.